Thanks for tuning in and welcome back to the shop. The last thing that I need to do to finish up this composite camper shell is fill in the holes in the back corner. So let's get to it. To start with, I've just done some old-fashioned CAD, cardboard aided design. This piece fits in there. So now I've got to take the scrap from when I cut out the door and cut the two sides and the piece that goes where the wheel is.
The panels are a foam and fiberglass composite. If you want more info on these, where I got them, how we assembled them, be sure to check out all our other videos. There's a lot of information and hours of entertainment.
Using some of my new favorite tools, these suction cups, and a couple of pieces of tape to guide me to the right location, I can install these panels from the outside. Now I have had to do a little bit of beveling around the edge of the panel just to get it to fit around the welds, and I've also had to do a little bit of tweaking of the aluminum frame, and this is a great tool for that. It just lets you slip it over the edge and give it a little bit of a tweak in the areas of the welds where things have deviated a little bit from where I wanted them to be. If you recall from when I put the wall panels in, we started with a strip of 3M VHB tape around the edge. So I'm going to remove these panels, clean, and install the VHB tape.
Fly so high, I'm hypnotized. What's up is down, what's left is right. Chasing stars and holding you. I can't see the end, but we'll see it through.
Glue the panels in. I'm going to use some Sikaflex 1A, again, just because I have it. Need to cut a V-notch in the end of this. I'm going to be using a pretty good amount going on these back panels. They're not quite as straight as the walls, so I'll put a pretty thick bead in here. Or at least I'll try. I did preheat these tubes inside, so they're at a decent workable temperature. A much better temperature than in here. It's about 10 degrees out here, I think. Celsius, 50-ish Fahrenheit. I've not yet pulled off the backing on the tape. Got to remember to do that. Almost forgot that once. Next step is pulling it in from the outside. I have already cleaned the edge of this all the way around with the alcohol. And you saw me doing the edge of the panel. Let's see how this fits. Only got one shot. Tape's already peeled and glue's already in there.
Love the world, but keep the sky on your mind.
Well, that feels like it went in pretty decently. I'm also gonna give it a push from the inside just because a little bit of limit on what the suction cup can do there. I did not appear to get any excess adhesive coming out anywhere, so that's a good sign. That panel's in. Let's see if number 2 goes in as nicely as number 1. And if I can do it once again without getting any Sikaflex on me. Nice. That looks good. Now, you may be wondering, how am I going to hold this here? Really, the double-sided tape should do its job and hold it there, and indeed it will if I let it go, but I like a little bit of extra safety in there. So I've come up with a bit of a solution here. I've got my suction cup to a pry bar. Of course, not enough room in between the pry bar and the truck for a clamp, so we've got a puller clamp going to a spreader clamp. Works for me. If you're wondering how I did that, suction cup on, pry bar through there. This one's a little bit tighter. I don't have quite as much space. So the pry bar is being pulled away from the truck with this clamp, pushing against this clamp. So as I tighten this clamp, it pulls on the pry bar, which pulls on the suction cup, which I can see right now is sitting at 550 inches of mercury, which says it's up to 240 pounds load. So that should hold that there nicely. Well, with those two pieces now held in place with the suction cup and the tape and soon the adhesive, I'm going to let those sit overnight. I'll come back out in a couple of hours and just check on the suction cups, but I'll let them sit overnight to cure, and then I'll work on the piece that goes behind the spare tire. Oh, it's getting cold outside. Morning. Welcome to day 2. I forgot to come out and check the clamps last night, so let's see. They're both still on. Perfect. Now we can move on to the middle. For the middle, probably don't need a suction cup, but I'll still pull it from the outside. I got to take the tire off so I can get at that, and I'm probably going to have to do a little bit of straightening with my adjustable wrench of the aluminum around the edge because I haven't done anything in there. So we'll do that first. Right now, I just have the tire held in place with a bungee cord, so it's pretty easy, relatively speaking, to get the tire off, relatively speaking. All I need is to stop it from tipping out. So the tire is just sitting on a tray down underneath. So I tip it out and then drop it down. Now I can get all this access, get it all cleaned up, get it straightened, and start test fitting the panel. For the last piece to go in from the inside, remember we've got the plywood that's going to hold it tight against the outside. So I'm not going to use the 3M double-sided tape here because it can't go anywhere. I may use a small strip across the top here just to hold it in tight when I pull it in, but I'm going to tape on the outside around the perimeter so that anything that does come out I can wipe off, because I'm going to be probably using a little more glue here than I did in the other areas because I don't have the tape. I've finished up with the fitting. I've carved out the corners here to match these corners. I've done a bevel on the edge so that I can get around the weld. This piece, as I put it in, you may notice is a little larger than what you might think. And that's because I have it sticking up past the top of the wheel well, because there's going to be another layer of foam here. I'm not going to do that today. I'm in fact going to leave that for quite a bit later when I have a decent temperature for bonding. It's going to be a different setup. It's going to be different foam. I'm not using the panels. I'm just going to use foam insulation, and then I'll make a cover that goes over the whole thing from the back wall to the front of this. I've left this a little bit high so that as I put that in, I can shape this exactly to fit it. But that's probably going to be a couple months out. Now I'm sure there's more than one person out there looking at the bottom of my wall and the back corner thinking, why did you not cut those on a 45 so they match properly? Well, fear not, this was a plan because it fits the 1x1 T-slot extrusion quite nicely. This T-slot extrusion will form part of the framing for the benches that will be back here and also part of the support for the bed and the mechanism that's going to raise and lower it. But before we can get to any of that, I've got to glue this piece in. So I've taken this piece back out again now that I taped the outside. I also taped the inside just to give me a good guide of where it's going to go. It's a little bit difficult to see the right position when I'm putting it in, so that'll help me there. I've done a good cleaning all the way around here with alcohol. I've also done a good cleaning all the way around here and in the bottom. I've put 2 strips of VHB tape on here just because it's the only place where I am putting the tape. I wanted to just give a little bit more stick. All right, with the tape peeled off, I'm going to do this a little bit differently. Because this piece, and again, this is why I only have tape on the top, because this piece has to drop in and then push up, I don't have a lot of wiggle room. Instead of putting the adhesive around here and then having it slide along the piece, I'm actually going to put it on the part for up here, and I'm going to put it in the base down here, and hopefully that lets me drop it in on a little bit of an angle and then push it up. I know that some of the sealant's going to kind of slide around and there's not really a whole lot I can do about that. So we'll see how it goes. All right, Flex 1A again. If you're doing this type of thing, do your own testing. Don't trust what I'm using. Never trust what you see on the internet. You never know. My whole truck could fall apart in 2 years. Let's see how much mess we can make now. So this panel almost has to go in vertically because of the angles on the ends. Okay. Yeah, we're definitely getting some goop on the outside, but that's all right. Looks like we're about centered. Push it in and down. It's gone down there. It's going down there. Needs a little bit more convincing. And then, oh yeah, getting some squish out here. I don't think that tape is actually going to do much of anything. Definitely got enough glue in there. It's oozing. All right. I'm going to go take a look at the outside, and I think I'm going to put one of my suction cups on the outside and use the same trick as I did on the outside last time. Well, it looks like we're getting a little bit of glue squishing out along the bottom, so that's good, and there's just a little bit up at the top, so I'll wipe out the excess. Unfortunately, I can't put my suction cup in there. I didn't realize this, but it's just a tiny bit too small. So I'll have to rig something up on the inside to make sure it stays pushed up tight while the glue cures. That's it. These 3 panels are now in. I hope you enjoyed that video. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to hit like, subscribe, comment if you got any questions. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time. Sometimes it just takes an extra half second of thinking and you come up with a solution. So I'm pretty sure if we put the suction cup here, and a clamp here, we can ensure it's pulled nice and tight until the glue is cured. I love these suction cups.